to suck fat. Great day to suck fat. Right?
Every day is a great day to suck fat.
So we're answering any questions you might have, liposuction, fat transfer, BBL, how you want to transform your life. That's what we really want to talk about. Those individuals who are on the cusp of changing everything in their lives to start living their best life. When you start to realize that the things that you've been doing in the past have been causing shit in your life and it's ready to change. Now's the time. And with liposuction, we can cause huge dramatic change very quickly, which gets you on the right path for success. So, Kale?
Jose. Yeah, so we've been off for a little bit. You had a nice little trip with your family. You know, you got to recharge the batteries. I unfortunately had to work a little bit, and then I went out and got some time away by myself. It was refreshing, and it's good to center and focus in on what makes you happy. So, you know, one of the things that I enjoy doing now that I'm a lot more active and taking more of an interest in making sure my health is on point is, you know, I go out and I look for, you know, I like to hunt and I like to hike around. So, you know, I have no idea what your particular thing is. Trevor likes to travel. Why don't you guys jump on and, you know, comment like what you guys like to do and, you know, and think about how maybe, you know, a new body might improve the activities you like to do.
That's a good point to make, that, you know, I talk about living your best life, but that's a vague term because your best life is different than my best life is different than your best life. So, you know, the first step to achieving your best life is to define what that actually means. Because I think so many of us in our lives, we're like, we want to be happy, we want to be whatever. It's a state of being that we want, but we never really define what that actually means to us. So when you start to evaluate your life, you can start to pick out some of the things that you may want to change in your life, whether that's spending time with people that are not, you know, in your best interest, or maybe it's, you know, spending more time being active in your life, maybe because you have spent a lot of time being inactive, which causes problems.
Yep. You know, one of the girls that I did recently, well, I don't know, I guess it was probably 4 months ago. She was a little bigger and she liked to run. And after we did the front of her abdomen, we took out a lot of fat from her. You know, she sent me a text and she showed me the time of her 1 mile time. And she was so excited because, you know, she got, I don't know, I think it was like sub 8 minutes. And for her before, you know, she was like, I don't know, like a 10-minute or whatever. And, you know, it was, for her, it was dramatic changes. And so now she totally is like stoked, and she's, you know, she's preparing, she's committed to doing a marathon. And, you know, that's just kind of like a couple of the small changes that you can do in your life with the assistance of what we do. And, you know, you can live your best life, like you said.
Right. You know, I got a text, I didn't think I told you about this, from Audra Israel this weekend. And she sent me a picture of her, you know, lean and out at some family function. And, you know, she was thanking me for, you know, her ability to live her best life and do the things that she wants to do. And, you know, once she realized that she didn't have to be limited by this body or what she thought about herself in the past, and you realize that you can be anything and do anything that you want, it's liberating. And I think that philosophically we may all believe that, or we may understand that it is possible to do everything, but then in our real lives we limit ourselves so many times, and so many things that we do, we say, oh, I can't do that because, or I'm not able to do that because I don't have the time, or I'm too big for that, or, you know, whatever. We make the excuses that limit our lives.
Absolutely. And our perception of how we look also limits how active we are.
It's a confidence, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you don't feel good, you don't perceive that you look good, oftentimes you just find yourself staying at home and you're not out there enjoying all that there is out there.
Right.
So, yeah, this is a cool little, this is a cool trade that we got into, a cool little skill set that we are able to intervene on people's lives so that, you know, it allows them to go do fun stuff, and, you know, changes their total perception on how they look at themselves.
Isla asks, what's the max liters you can take off? You heard it's 5 liters. Kayla, you want to address that?
Yeah, so we don't talk about numbers. I mean, we look at your body and we analyze it through the photos, and we corroborate it with your medical history, and we make this procedure as safe as we can. And if you're curious about how many liters comes off, every fat, every fat densities are so different, person to person. Like nobody could even tell you. But look at the results, and you can tell that there was a significant amount of change that we were able to affect.
Yeah, I know people are like, they're caught on this number. Like,
Well, it's
you
all
have a
numbers,
number,
right? It's all numbers.
But just look at the results. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we get off of these people. Like, it doesn't. No one's gonna say, hey, we only got 6 liters off of that, but the belly went away.
Yeah.
So we only got 2 liters, but the belly went away. I mean, like, ultimately, it's about getting results. So we don't look at you and say, hey, we have to get X number of liters off of you. We're just like, I just need to make the belly go away. That's the goal.
Yeah, and then with that is they also say, well, how many pounds am I going to lose?
Mm-hmm.
It
irrelevant.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because your density of fat is different than the other guys. And bottom line is, we're going to take out that fat and we're going to shape you and we're going to contour you, and your overall appearance is going to look a lot more improved, and you're going to be a lot healthier. And whatever the scale says, it doesn't really matter.
So Selena says this is her biggest goal, that you're trying to save money and get on a better lifestyle track to look better and feel better. Here's the cool thing is it's free to change your life. It really is. You can change like right now, and change happens in an instant. It's just making that decision and then going down a different path in your life. Most people, and my wife loves to tell me this, that, oh, it takes so much time to change. But that is not true.
Not true.
You quit smoking just like that. It's an instant. You made a decision and then you quit right then. That was the moment. And then from then on, you're a non-smoker until you become a smoker again, right? So your change happens in an instant, but it's you that goes flip-flops back and forth. It's the decision in the mind. It happens in an instant. It's not going to take a long time. It doesn't take a long time. It happens instantly. So once you decide to change your life, you decide to live the better lifestyle, to eat better food, or be more active, whatever it is you decide to do, it's just a matter of sticking to it and having discipline. It happens quickly.
It does.
And the results come quickly if you can stick to it.
Yeah, and on the flip side, it also goes bad quickly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I continuously have to remember that every day I have to do something active, and if I don't, I feel like my diet kind of slips. I feel like, I'm not as active as I should be. I don't get as much done as I should be. But if I wake up in the morning and I get my physical thing in, then it holds me accountable throughout the entire day, and I'm a lot more productive, and it's just, I don't know, for me, it helps with that anxiety that I have all day long, thinking, oh, I got to do that, oh, I got to do that, and it holds me accountable.
Yep. There's a book, 7 Habits of the Highly Successful Individuals, and one of the habits was do the first things first. And the way I took that is that, I would wake up early in the morning and do all the things that are most important to me that I want to get done in the day, whether that's, working out or exercising or reading or improving myself, whatever I need to do to improve myself, I do that first. And once it's done, I can do whatever I want in the rest of the day, and I know that I've been productive and I feel good about myself.
Yeah,
so,
I think you touched on a habit that very few people master. You get up in the morning and you get stuff done, and you start your day relatively early. I mean, at like what, 4:30, 5 o'clock, or something like that.
I don't do that anymore at this point because I don't have.
Lazy.
Well, yeah, I know, right? But I don't have as many things that I am trying to conquer at this point. At one point, I was trying to take on many different habits. So I was journaling. I was working out calisthenics, and I was also running, and I like to read for a half hour, 45 minutes every morning as well. So there's a lot to do in a period of time before I go to work, and and do the real work of the day, right? But I felt good knowing that I got it done in the beginning. So if the rest of the day fell apart, at least I knew I did what I had to do, and I felt good about it.
There you go. I am not one of those early risers unless I'm going hunting or doing something super fun. Yeah, I mean, I like to get up in the morning and I love to see the sunrise, but I like to, Trevor will oftentimes come in when we're preparing for the day. I'll be mixing medicines and trying to get set up, and he wants to have a conversation. I'm like, dude, it's not there yet. Like, it's not clicking. It doesn't start clicking till about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and then I'm super sharp. So
it's a habit, though. It really is. I was not a morning person at all. I was one of those kids when I was younger. I would sleep in till 11 or 12, and I was just like everyone. I was a normal person, right? But I made a choice, and I realized that I could accomplish a lot more in a shorter period of time if I got up earlier. And it's one of those things that you have to plan for it. So if you're one of those people you stay up till 11 or 12 at night, and then you're trying to get up at 4, that shit ain't gonna work.
Nope.
So you have to plan for it and go to sleep earlier, which means getting your stuff done in the evening. And if you have kids, like we have, we both have kids. My kids go to bed early, so in most cases in the past, what I would do is I would stay up late watching TV, and it was like I was just wasting 2-3 hours at the end of the evening doing nothing and accomplishing nothing of good. So I just decided to cut that out and just go to sleep.
Sure.
And when you wake up early, it's easy to go to sleep early.
Yeah. I had a buddy who actually got into insurance. His dad had this interesting thought that kind of resonated with me. They had this conversation between them, and it was something about watching a show, and the dad, who had all this wisdom and was a really successful insurance salesman, says, dude, why are you wasting your time watching that TV? You're making somebody else money.
Right.
Go to sleep, wake up in the morning, get your day going, and make yourself some money and benefit your life and those around you, those that you're in direct care of. So, I thought that was pretty profound, and that kind of resonates with what you're talking about. Staying up late and watching TV, I don't know. I try not to do it anymore. Man, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know, but I'll watch a game into the late night. But other than that, unless I'm hanging out with my wife, no, man. I'd rather get to bed and get something done the next day. Terribly has mentioned this a couple times, or questioned this a couple times. What are your BMI requirements? Terribly, we don't have BMI requirements, and Trevor often jokes that he doesn't even know how to calculate it, and I think I've forgotten. So, no, we look at everybody's overall health, their medical records, like what medications they take. We look at the size. You send in photos, and we analyze. And if we feel like we can do intervene on your behalf in a very safe manner, to where we're going to be able to give you some amazing results, we'll let you know. And we've been doing a pretty good job so far. So.
Ashley asks, and she says that she had her lipo back in September of 2020 and didn't get the panis done. When can I go back? Symmetrical stomach. This is a personal question, Ashley, that probably shouldn't be addressed publicly for HIPAA rules, since we're talking about your procedure. So call our office, send us some pictures. We do have a jot form link that you can upload photos, so we can take a look at that stuff as well and figure out what's right for you. Rebecca says, I don't remember the last time I watched TV. That's good. Yes, hit the share button, please. Everyone hit the share button on Facebook. So I'll tell you what I did is one of my habits that is something that you can constantly improve and get better. And so it's we all have this time, the in-between time, whether we're standing in line at the grocery store, or we're walking from our car that we parked far away, or driving to work, or driving home. Whatever the case is, this in-between time that most people will utilize doing nothing, or perhaps listening to the radio or music or whatever the case. Well, I started reading books or listening to books, and during that time, and with just that time in between, I'm able to listen to about an hour a day. So that's time that previously was wasted, and now I use it to listen to books about an hour a day. And if you can listen to a book about an hour a day, you will probably be reading about 25 to 30 books a year. So imagine what you could master, or how much you can advance your knowledge if you were able to read 30 books. It makes a huge impact, and it's cumulative. So if you do this over the years, you'll continue to get smarter and smarter and master the skills that you need to be successful.
So Lily Beth asked, when will you be doing in-person consultations? I know a lot of people like those because it creates a more intricate feel, and it. I don't know. We this whole COVID thing has kind of changed how everything is being done. I don't know if you paid attention, but Zoom stock went way up through the roof when everyone started working remotely. We try to do that, and we try and limit the amount of people that come into the office unless you're there for a procedure. There are certain occasions where we get together with you in the office. So if you're really interested in that, Lilybeth, give the office a call, and we'll have the girls set it up to where you can come in and do an in-office consultation. Okay. And I think there was another question like, I drink and I smoke. How soon can I get the procedure after stopping those two particular things? And I don't think there's a hard and fast rule, but the bottom line is, alcohol are a bunch of calories that are, just empty calories that'll make you fat, and it really won't promote healing. And the smoking, if you've ever seen a board question on a medical exam, if smoking is in the answer, it typically, that's the answer for the question. So smoking is linked to so many different things. Try and just quit smoking as quick as you can. And once you quit, just quit, right? You're improving your health, quit. And then, we'll look at your overall health, and we'll come up with an idea on when we think it's safe or when we think it's healthy for you. So there's not a hard and fast rule.
I'd heard alcohol is a blood thinner.
It is. Yeah, it is.
So, drinking alcohol before, or short there before, or even short thereafter would make it a higher risk for bleeding after these procedures. So, also when you take the antibiotic as well as a pain medication, drinking alcohol is not recommended. Is there a payment plan? So we work with a finance company that you can apply for through our website, and they finance it, then you make payments. We also do kind of like a layaway type program where you can make payments to our office on a monthly basis, and then when you're paid in full, we can go ahead and move forward.
Bueno, ha sido un tiempo desde yo, hice uno de esos videos. Entonces cuando estaba acá hace algunas semanas había muchas chicas que hablaban español y tenían muchas preguntas en español. ¿Dónde están ellos? So I just asked them, where are all the Hispanic ladies that are asking questions, because I don't see anything in Spanish.
No. Millie, you got your procedure scheduled on the 17th. We look forward to seeing you.
So Glamour Goddess asks, will the fat go away permanently since you take out the fat cells? Yeah, listen, we take out those fat cells. They cannot engorge. We take out most of the fat cells in the area. However, if you do, decide that you want to get unhealthy again and start slipping, the fat can come back. It'll just come back in other areas. It'll still come back in that area because we're not taking everything. We don't want to take everything, but it'll come back into that, and it'll come back just a little bit, disproportionate in other areas.
Yeah, you're going to gain weight wherever you have fat cells. So if we take the fat cells away, all the studies say the fat cells don't reproduce. You're not going to get more fat cells in that area. However, we never take 100% of them. So it's always possible to gain some weight back in the same area.
Don't you get loose skin after lipo, Trevor?
Well, if that were true, then everybody would need a tummy tuck. However, you can see from the pictures behind us that none of our patients get tummy tuck, yet those bellies go away. The loose skin theory, the idea that plastic surgeons tell patients that you have loose skin is, or you're going to have empty sac of skin. That's usually what the term that they use. In most cases, it's a fear motivator. People are scared that they're going to have this empty sac of skin, so they choose to get the skin cut away before even finding out if they're going to get that. Now, most plastic surgeons, I don't even know if they believe that they're lying to you. I believe that they just don't even know any better because they never actually tried doing the procedures without a tummy tuck because they were told that it was impossible. And so when you're told that things are impossible, you never try. Now, I'm a nonconformist. I never listened to any bullshit. And so I never listened to these rules saying that you had to get a tummy tuck. And so I figured out ways to make those bellies go away without doing a tummy tuck. And the results are amazing.
So it was interesting when we got hooked back up. He said, "Oh my gosh, I'm doing this new stuff. I'm focusing on this one area, and the skin's retracting, and we're taking out a lot. And I said, cool. Like, look, this is what I did to my sister-in-law. I also got super aggressive with her and her skin came back. And so we were on the same page. We were already like kind of pushing the limits. And so, yeah, I think what happens in medicine a lot of time, it's traditional. Yep, there you go. You can see it. You know, she had basically, you know, some really excess skin, and it retracted nicely. And you know, if you message her, she probably send you a picture of her lower, and it's still retracting. So the skin continues to return. It has a memory. It returns to where it was. Now, maybe the plastic surgeon or whoever's perspective was, oh well, those results aren't good. Maybe they're not to them. Who knows, right? But to me, I think these look pretty amazing, right? From where we started to where she ended up, these look pretty amazing.
And there's no big scar.
Yeah.
No big scar, and no, you know, many of you who are researching tummy tuck, you know, when they do tummy tucks, they typically get dog ears, those little pooches on the sides. So it's not even a possibility with liposuction.
Yeah.
So this is the alcohol thing again. How long do they have to not have alcohol in cigarettes? And the disclaimer is, I'm not an alcoholic.
Sure.
Right.
We've heard that before. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, you're asking a lot of questions about alcohol for a person that's not alcoholic. No, it's, you know, it's just stop drinking, you know, before the procedure. And, you know, the smoking, in my opinion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, smoking is probably more detrimental than the drinking.
Totally agree.
But both.
Totally. Yeah. But they're both, but yeah, the smoking for sure. Listen, we want to give you the best results possible. We want your body to be able to heal and give and allow that healing, you know, to give you these amazing results. And so if you're going to go ahead, we're going to do our part. Listen, you show up, we're going to do our part. Just, you know, you're investing in it, just do your part, right? Give yourself the best chance to have the most amazing results.
So someone asked the questions about the loose skin, and Blanquita says, no loose skin here, and I'm a mom of 7.
That girl.
Okay, there's a Spanish one here. I'm gonna read it out loud.
So it says, ¿Qué tan seguro es? I think maybe referring to the procedure. Soy una persona delgada, solo quisiera en los lados y los cinturones. Bueno, Marilu tiene que enviar sus fotos a nuestra página de web para que podamos analizar lo que tienes, y desde allá podemos darle una consulta por teléfono y podemos hablar en cuáles son los metas que usted tiene y lo que nosotros pensamos que sería mejor para usted. Y es un proceso, okay? So I just said, you know, she asked, well, I only want the sides done. And I just said, send some photos in so we can analyze it and we can work together to, you know, to create what the results she's looking for. Paraphrased, obviously.
Right. I just want to reiterate, Rebecca was suggesting that if you're not on our private Facebook group, that you go join the private Facebook group. You're going to go and search My Shape Lipo Support Group. And I think Rebecca's got a link or something here as well.
So a couple of disclaimers with that. You know, some of the posts recently, you know, there was a female, and maybe we haven't made it, you know, super aware, but this is our page. This is My Shape Lipo's page. This is promoting what we do and the technique and what we do. So please don't get on there and say, oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, they do. It looks like they do a pretty good job, but you know, you should go to this guy. DM me for you know, for his instructions. He's in Tijuana.
Right.
Listen, if you want to do that, great. Go on some other page. Like, this is our page, and this is how we allow all of the patients to have, you know, just unadulterated exclusivity and information at their fingertips. And nobody's doing this. Like, none of the other, you know, plastics or cosmetics guys are doing this. We do it so that you have all of the information, because we want transparency. That's what's important to us.
So someone asked this question, kind of morbid. Has anyone died from any of the work you've done on them? And if so, which procedure and why?
Well, it is kind of an interesting question, Choco.
So no,
and I'm not sure any guy would ever answer yes to that question on a live like this. Absolutely.
So I've never had a patient die from any liposuction procedure.
So to date, the technique that we do is called tumescent liposuction. It was invented by Dr. Klein, who was a dermatologist. I say that again really slowly, dermatologist. So just because we're not plastics or cosmetics guys doesn't mean that we can't do this procedure and do it very well. This dermatologist invented this procedure, and to date there has never been any death from tumescent liposuction.
So Chaco also said she's concerned about the chances of fat embolism if you are very vascular. Like, everybody's vascular, it's not just you. And the fat embolisms, the interesting thing is that the way for a fat to get into the blood vessels, the blood vessel has to be open, the fat has to travel in it, right? So when we do fat transfer, first of all, we're injecting with blunt instruments. Blunt instruments are not going to break the blood vessels, but also, more importantly, we utilize the epinephrine, which constricts the blood vessels and pushes all the blood away from the area. So the blood vessels in the area where we are working are so small that there's almost no bleeding throughout the procedure. And so if there's no bleeding throughout the procedure, it's damn near impossible to get a fat embolism if you do the proper techniques. I've heard of fat embolisms like as a theoretic problem, but I've never actually heard of an individual getting a fat embolism. Have you?
So what I heard recently, because I'm a part of a couple of other liposuction groups on Facebook, because I like to keep my finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. There was a doctor in Florida that allegedly, that his technique was to go deep intramuscular injections.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, and listen, it doesn't do you any bit of good if you come in and get a procedure and you die the next day. Right. I mean, first of all, we got into medicine because we care about people, and anytime we get to intervene on somebody's behalf and improve their life, then that's why we do it. It's super rewarding. So we try and make sure that we operate in certain parameters that is extremely safe and healthy for you. Okay. So we're not going to do these deep muscle injections to give you this big Kim Kardashian butt. Listen, we are going to enhance what your canvas is, and we're not going to try and make it to something it's not. I worked in dermatology before, and girls would come in and they say, "Oh my gosh, can you do these lip injections and make me look like Kylie Jenner?" No. What I can do is I can inject it, I can increase volume, and I can enhance what your canvas already is. And the same thing in liposuction. You come in, we look at your canvas, okay? Not everybody's going to look like Giselle Bundchen, Tom Brady's wife, right? She's, just got according to society, she's got this.
I didn't know who the hell that was.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, well, Tom Brady's wife, right? She's a supermodel. Right. Not everybody has that body type, okay? And that's okay. That's okay. Let's enhance what you have, and let's improve what you already have, and make you super confident in a bikini.
So Chaco, another question says, you're interested in Lipo 360. Do we offer J Plasma? So J Plasma is a technology used for tightening skin. We utilize a smart lipo laser. We've been using that for a while now. The results are good. You can see the skin retracts back quite nicely. So, J Plasma again is a brand name of a technology that tightens the skin. So, those of you out there, I wouldn't get so caught up on the technology name or the brand. It's more so the individual who's utilizing the machine. You can put any machine in my hand and I'll make magic happen. And that's just the way it is. But these technologies, if you're gonna search around and only find a person who has the technology that you're looking for, you may find a person who doesn't know what the hell they're doing, but they have the best technology. And I promise you're gonna get crappy results. So focus on finding an individual who can get you the results that you're looking for, regardless of what technology they're using, because it's just really not that important.
So Perfect Storm 84 said she was told she can't do 2 sessions. I don't know. It was upper, lower, abdomen, sides, back.
I can't do 2 sessions.
I don't know. Well, so listen. Bottom line is, I'm not sure who you spoke to, but we look at your body style, we look at your canvas, we look at what your needs are, and we discuss with you what your aspirations are, and we tell you how we feel like we can do it to the best of our ability and make it safe for you. So that's bottom line.
Yeah. So she may have been talking about that we were going to do it. We recommended doing it in 2 procedures as opposed to 1 procedure, and the reason for that we do that is we've been dealing with much larger individuals. So like this individual right behind us here. We already exceeded the maximum that we were able to get off of her just by doing the front of her abdomen. So if we were to try to push the limits and try to take more out through the sides and the lower back, we would put her life at risk, that's where we draw the line. We don't want to do that. So the reason why we don't do 360 lipo on some individuals all in one procedure is because it's not safe. Now, this is our guidelines. This is what we are going by, and there's other places that may decide to put your life at risk, and you have to be the one to choose whether you want to go that route or not.
Yeah. So bottom line is, I came across this the other, today actually. I was talking with the girls, and apparently a potential client called up and said, was kind of demanding. No, I want you to do this, this, and this, and this. Well, bottom line is, this is my medical license, this is his medical license, and we've decided to practice to the best of our ability and what we consider is the safest. Okay, so I mean, if you want to find some guy that does takes out almost everything all at one time, if you're 300 pounds and it takes you down to 110, fine. There's probably some dudes down in the Dominican Republic that will do that.
Colombia.
Yep. So go down there, and hopefully it's safe for you. We don't wish any ill will on anybody, but bottom line is, we do what we consider as safe, and what we consider as safe is just the end all for us. Because, if he loses his license or I lose my license, who's going to pay? Who's going to pay for my kids? Who's going to pay the bills at my house? So.
And we won't be able to help any more people.
Exactly. So.
If you want us to help more people, then we got to do things the right way.
Yeah, we got to be safe. Do you do lipo 360s? Absolutely.
Yeah. So just the lipo 360 is a term. It's just a word that refers to the liposuction 360 degrees all the way around the waistline to create that hourglass figure, to get rid of that pannus, the belly that you see that hanging on down in the front there. We get that to go away completely.
So that one, there was, we discussed it about the whole fat cells going away. Glamour Goddess asks again. Yeah, so just go back in the video, and bottom line is, not all of the fat cells are taken out in one area. It can come back if you're not healthy, and it will come back disproportionate. It won't come back significantly to that area because we take a lot of the fat cells out, but it'll go into other areas.
So for those people who have large breasts, large thighs, like for example, this young lady behind us, we took away her belly, so if she went and gained weight, she's still got really big thighs, she's got really big boobs, and she's got really big butt. So when she gains weight, it's those areas where the fat cells are, that's where she's going to get bigger. But the area where we took the fat away on the belly, it may get a little bit bigger, but not proportionate to where the rest of the fat is.
Because we took out most of the fat cells there. Okay.
How long after postpartum do you recommend having the procedure?
When you get a clearance from your OBGYN, but not sooner than 6 months to a year, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that happens during pregnancy. You're gonna have a lot of hormones going through you. There's a lot of problems that can arise, and so if you want to talk to your OBGYN and he gives you a thumbs up, we'll always defer to the specialist. So go to him and get him involved and see what he says.
Yeah, and I would say also probably at least 6 months after breastfeeding, because you have a lot of hormones going through with the breastfeeding. I saw a comment over here about the tummy tuck. Someone got a tummy tuck, and how soon after can we do a procedure on someone who had a tummy tuck? Now, the big concern with that is that the wound would open up on the tummy tuck. So we have to be very careful in working around that area. Now, first off, we do so many procedures on people who have had tummy tucks already and still need a lot of fat sucked off of them. And the results are phenomenal. It looks really amazing because the skin's already been cut away, but they usually leave too much fat behind. So we can solve those problems very quickly, and the results are amazing. But you got to wait at least 6 months and probably longer for a tummy tuck to safely do liposuction.
So the whole inflammatory process and scarring process, it takes place over about a year, okay? And so you get the initial scar that forms, and then it gets remodeled over a year. So yeah, you don't want that to open up while we're doing it. We don't want it to open up while we're doing it. And so let's just play very conservative and make sure that we don't have any problems. And after a year, then we can go in there and we can remove the fat, and that scar will be nice and tight. It will still not be as tight as if you never had a cut before at all. But even still, it's, after about a year, we can do it.
So Joanne says you had a lot of loose skin under your arms. Do you only do lipo under the arms, or do they? Okay, so we don't do any of the cutting procedures, any of the lift type stuff that the plastic surgeons like to do. And if we're patient here, Granville's going to get some pictures as right on cue. You can see. Do we have that one really big one?
Yes, I know.
So I just wanted you guys to see this because you're concerned about loose skin. We have a very large individual, and you can see how well the skin retracts back. Now this young lady up here, she's not as big, but she does have loose skin, and she has loose skin all throughout her body. So it's pretty amazing that the skin tightens up well on the arms. Now, as with the arms and your abdomen and your thighs, anywhere where you may have very, very loose skin, everybody has different propensity and ability to tighten up. You see this individual here, she had very large arms, and you can see that it was sacks of fat hanging down, and like when she wobbles it, it hangs down about 6-8 inches below her arm. And then afterwards it retracts back. It's quite amazing. And so those of you who think that you have to get things cut away, you have to see some of these pictures. It blows me away every time I see this stuff, and I've been doing this for a long time, and it still blows me away to see what's even possible. And you know what? If you still have loose skin afterwards, it's easy to get skin cut away because then it's just skin. But most of these plastic surgeons, when they do the lift type procedures, where there's a tummy tuck, arm lift, thigh lift, they don't take out enough fat. And so when they don't take out enough fat, you still have fat in the area and a huge scar. And that sucks.
So is the patient awake during both procedures, taking out the fat and putting the fat in? Yes. The entire time you're awake. The technique is called tumescent liposuction. We take the anesthesia and we inject it right into the fat layer, and we suck it out. And the entire time we can keep track of how well you're doing. And this is the best way because it's going to give you the fastest recovery, because you don't have to stay overnight and be watched because you went under general anesthesia. You're able to go home, get into your own bed or a hotel bed, and just kind of recuperate on your own leisure. Okay, so this is the healthiest, safest way to do it.
All right, Chaco wants to talk about more problems. Have any patients gotten fat necrosis from lipo? So, fat necrosis. I've seen, I guess, what we called fat necrosis with fat transfer, where you inject the fat in and the fat doesn't all survive, and some of it necroses and the body expels that fat. So that's possible. I've seen that a few times. But I don't know, fat necrosis for liposuction. I mean, maybe damage to the skin, necrosis to the skin.
Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with that. The bottom line is, yeah, sometimes you can have a collection of fat cells when we do the transfer that'll just kind of act like a zit, and it'll kind of like fester up, and it'll come to a head, and we express it or we drain it ahead of time. But no real major complications of fat necrosis, I should say.
So Chaco, you've been doing a lot of research, and I'm sure you've been searching for problems. And I promise, when you search for a problem, you're going to find problems. So if you keep searching the internet for these key terms, you're going to find, there's been something in the media, someone died, something happened around the world. There's 500,000 of these procedures done a year. Something bad's going to happen. I promise you. There's going to be people that have died. Everything is going to have happened. So we've done thousands of these procedures. Nobody's died. We've had complications, but they're expected complications with many of these things. It's always possible. So if what was the person that said, if anything can happen, it will happen?
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah. So bottom line is, listen, Chaco, it is super important that you do your own research and you come to the best educated decision that you can come to, okay? Bottom line is, are there complications with this procedure? Yes, there are. Do we try and mitigate all of those issues? Yes, we do. Do we try and make sure that this is absolutely safe for you? Yes, that's what we do, okay? We're not one of those mills in Miami that says, yeah, come in, we'll take your money, and we'll just run you through. We don't do that. Everybody that comes through our doors, we know their name, we've extensively investigated their medical history, we've talked to them, and we make sure that this is the right fit. And this is a good way right now for you guys to see who we are and see if we're going to get along, because, countless times I've been into, places where I just know I'm not going to get along with that person, and so I didn't want to go there. So now you have the opportunity to interview us. We can't see you, but we want this to be very transparent and a very easy process, okay? And hopefully by you listening to our discourse and how we talk about these things, it makes you feel comfortable. Yes, there are risks in every procedure, so please don't go into it thinking, oh my gosh, everything is going to be roses or doom and gloom. Either way, okay? There was a question. This is one of the patients that's actually coming back for love handles, hips, and lower back. We focused in, Miss Jones, right on the front of her abdomen on day one, and we took a substantial amount of fat out. And you can see how flat it is now. And then she's going to come back, and we're going to sculpt these love handles and these hips, and we're going to make it look a little more proportioned. When I talked to her on the phone today, I said, hey, what are people saying to you? Like, what are the comments that are being brought up after having had your procedure? She goes, it's so fun because people will come in and they say, hey, did you get something done? Man, you look amazing. What did you do? And it just, to her, it was kind of like this motivation, like this
like attention.
Yeah, exactly. And it perpetuated her wanting to continuously improve herself because people were taking notice and they were commenting on it.
You know what I think is really cool when you look at this picture behind us is that we only treated the front of the abdomen. However, it appears as if she's gotten smaller in the waist as well as on the backside. It appears, right? Mm-hmm. Now, is that just an illusion or is that real? Doesn't matter. So the interesting thing that I've seen is that there's folds that people are concerned about, and these folds are caused by a couple different things. It's one, the fullness, but also then how gravity pulls on the body and it causes the folds. So interesting thing is with this lady is we took away the front of her belly, then all of a sudden those folds on the sides just disappeared, even though the fat's still there. So it was really the gravity pulling down on the front of her belly which caused this roll right here. So you never really know what this is going to do for you, but you can see some amazing things are possible.
Yeah, and this goes back to my point about Giselle, right? So she is never going to be Giselle, and that's okay. What we did is we just improved her canvas, and look how she looks now. And I bet if you personally got a chance to talk to her, she would tell you 1,000 times over, I would do it again, I would do it again. Yes, it was uncomfortable at times, but I would do it again. Why? Because of this right here.
Yep.
Okay?
Roxanne, we were showing the pictures of her, and she's saying, that was me, that's me, you should see me now. So you should put up some recent pictures on the private Facebook group. I'm sure everybody would love to see. Each of these individuals that are sharing on the Facebook group, it's you have the ability to help others that are just like you, because like Roxanne, your arms, I promise you there's other women out there that have the same problem, and they don't know what to do, and they're scared, and they keep asking questions, but they don't find anybody that's like them. So when you're able to share your knowledge, your experience, it's like you've already walked the path for them, and all they have to do is follow. And we've set this up for our patients through the private Facebook group, where they're able to connect with other individuals that are just like themselves, who have the same issues, whether it's loose skin, whether it's very obese, or whether it's skinny, whether it's stretch marks, whatever your issue is, there's someone else on the group that has the same issues.
Yeah, and they also have there's a bunch of different people in the group that have the same insecurities and the same anxieties that you do. So jump on the group, connect with them, and just have a conversation with them. They're more than willing, like the previous clients that I've run into are more than willing to go ahead and share their total experience. So, can you please pin the Facebook group, please?
Oh,
I don't know how to do that. But can you go to the website, or you jump on My Shape on the Facebook group, My Shape Lipo, and then there's a little like banner. And there's an option that says groups, and you can request to join. And please, be very respectful. We're not really including the guys in this, and the design was I thought pretty novel. It wasn't my idea. It was, let's create a space where girls can be just intimate and share their results and just kind of let their hair down and not worry about being judged by the male species, because oftentimes females perceive that we do that. I think the girls do it just as much, but anyway.
Chaco has another question. She said, do you need drains and professional massage? Now, she qualified this and said, I'm just asking, and if these questions aren't welcome, I don't want to bother anyone. So, Chaco, first of all, I was thinking when you were asking these questions, I feel like you already know the answers to this stuff because you seem very educated, like you've done a lot of research. However, I am actually very happy that you asked these type of questions, because when you ask these questions, there's a lot of other people that have the same questions and they never even knew to ask. So coming from an educated individual like yourself, you've obviously done some research, so you found some things that you have questions about. So these are good, it's good to get these things answered by someone who knows what they're talking about, because God knows you can go find anything on the internet, and if you believe everything that you read, you're gonna...
Yeah, Dr. Google is definitely the creator of a lot of anxiety for sure.
Let me answer that really quick though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I got on a tangent. So we don't use drains. Our wounds are left open on purpose so they can drain through those holes. Now it is kind of messy afterwards, but it's a lot easier not having drains. And as far as professional massages, we will give you one lymphatic massage after the procedure, the day after the procedure. And whether you choose to continue getting lymphatic massages afterwards, up to you. However, it is recommended.
So bottom line is, I did this procedure on my wife, okay? I was there to help take care of her. She was a trooper. She didn't really need a whole lot of massages. On the converse, the lady that I was talking about that is now going to train for a marathon, yeah, she needed, I think she got 10 lymphatic massages because her body responded differently. There was a hyper-inflammatory response, built up a lot of fluid, and it just depends on your body. If it's necessary, do it, okay?
All right, so I just pinned the comment from Granville about the link for the Facebook group. So on Instagram, you have to copy and paste that in the toolbar. Chaco says, I'm actually asking for a friend. We've heard that one before.
I like it. Listen, I can't wait to see you, Chaco. You got Chaco Creole, which means she's probably from the South somewhere, Louisiana.
Oh no, your questions are welcome. You're not annoying, Chaco.
It's entertaining. But let's see here. Michelle Brantley, how are you doing? How's your recovery? I bet it's going well.
Michelle? Yeah, Michelle just got her legs done.
Okay, so Yari Gomez, listen, everybody's body is different, okay? And so we have to take a look at your particular photos. We have to talk with you, and then we can give you an arm, like a price about your arms. We don't just give you, just a random cookie cutter, oh yeah, your arms are gonna be this much. Like if you want that, listen, there are a lot of people that do that way, okay? I don't think that you're gonna get the personal attention that we give you, so I mean, no big deal. But we don't really discuss it, and we don't discuss it in the group either, because again, every body system is different.
Roxanne says that her husband, her sister, daughter-in-law, everybody was telling her how good she looks, and she believes it now. That's super exciting, because I know when you have large arms, it's something that people hide. They cover up. I know girls that living here in Vegas, they never wear short sleeve shirts because they're embarrassed of their arms. So it's super exciting to hear someone get their confidence back.
And listen, I'm excited for her because when I was working on her and we had this nice conversation, she just seemed like she was a good human being. And so when good things happen to good people and they're starting to see positivity in their lives, it's super rewarding. So.
Yeah, this is Rebecca. For many of you who probably know Rebecca Rexroth, these are her pictures.
Rebecca, thank you for always posting. And again, just to reiterate, look at the overhang. and look at how well this retracted, okay? Now, are there gonna be some plastics and cosmetics guys that said, oh, no, she needed a tummy tuck? Whatever. If you want that, go to them, okay? And go see what they have to say, and if they make you feel comfortable, great. The bottom line is there was no tummy tuck here, and her results look amazing, and she doesn't have a big old smiley face down in the lower section that she has to hide with, a bikini bottom that's pulled way up, so.
What's up, Audra? I was just talking about you earlier. Okay, Monica asked if any specific food or vitamins recommended after lipo. So I'm sure there are better foods to eat, and I'm sure there are supplements and things of that nature that would be beneficial. That's not something that I have ventured into giving recommendations on. I think food in general, we all know what's not good for us. And I'll give you a generalized answer. Eat less meat and more vegetables. And this is as opposed to the way I grew up was meat and potatoes. And it would be a big chunk of meat and a little bit of vegetables and then some potatoes or something of that sort. So flip that around and get 2 big servings of vegetables and 1 little serving of meat, and just flip that around and you're on the right track. The other thing is drinking plenty of water before, after the procedure is very important. For the rest of your life, drink more water, because most of us are chronically dehydrated. Supplements wise, there's a lot of different supplements out there. I don't believe personally that we get all of our nutrients from the food that we're eating. So there's lots of different supplements, and again, I'm not going to recommend one over the other, but I take a lot of supplements. So
listen, whenever you're here at the procedure, or after your procedure, the question is, okay, when I go home, what? Okay, so Trevor's absolutely right. You're investing in your health. Go ahead and improve your diet and become a healthier you. But immediately, like a day or 2 after the procedure, it's whatever your body can get in. You need calories, you need fluids. Okay, so just because you go home and you're not feeling well, if that peanut butter looks good, eat the peanut butter. If that ice cream looks good, eat the ice cream, just for a day or 2, okay? Because your body needs sustenance. Okay.
I would say less salty food is probably a good rule of thumb too. The salt helps you retain water, and so you'll be more swollen.
Mm-hmm. So, when do you recommend doing it? If you're still having babies, listen, this is your life. Whenever you want to do it, okay? I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. My sister-in-law, she had, 4 gestations, and 3 of them were 10 pounds plus, and she really got, the front of the abdomen, the skin really stretched out, but it came back. I don't know what your goals are and what you're planning on doing. That's kind of a personal thing.
So I always tell the story of my sister. I did like nearly full body liposuction on her, and then consequently afterwards she had 2 kids. I think it was probably a few years, 2-3 years after that. And what she told me is that everything went back to the way it was pre-liposuction once she lost that pregnancy weight. So let's say you gain 20 pounds during pregnancy. Once you lose that 20 pounds afterwards, your body will go back to the same or similar to what it was previously, minus whatever, stretch marks or whatever from the pregnancy.
Yeah, so Michelle, I'm so grateful that you like your results.
Was that her legs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She says, I'm so in love.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Audra says, eat clean as much as possible. And that's really just it. It's just do the best that you can. And if you have to get into a situation where you can't eat the way that you want to eat, then you do that for that short period of time, then you go back to eating clean as soon as you can. Yeah. Just do the best that you can.
So Miss Jones, yeah, listen, get your pictures in, and we'll take a look at your body type, and we'll look and we'll see if we can, meet your expectations. Bottom line is we've been doing it to a lot of people. We've been doing this procedure on a lot of people, I should say, and the results have been amazing. So, yeah, you don't need a tummy tuck oftentimes.
See anything in there?
I want the Lipo 360. Does the Lipo 360 exist here? Listen, Lily, Lipo 360 is just referring to the area of the body, okay? So, yeah, we do the, on on a lot of individuals that meet this, kind of body style, we can do the front of the abdomen, we can do the sides, and we can do the lower back all in one. It just depends on how big your body habitus is.
Heidi's on YouTube, and she says that she got the 360 lipo and she's down 7 inches off her waist. That's in one measurement too. One measurement, 7 inches. Could you imagine going down 7 inches?
So that's unreal. So oftentimes I joke, listen, it's not the procedure that's expensive. It's the wardrobe that you're going to have to purchase after the procedure, because your body's going to be completely different, and you're going to look good, and you're going to want to go buy a new wardrobe.
Yeah. That's a good consequence.
Yeah, it really is. Just going to go to ATL. Yeah, send your photos in. What about a ketogenic diet after surgery? Listen, we have associated with Lexi, who's a lymphatic masseuse. Lexi likes to dabble in a lot of things, and she's really kind of focused in on this post-op recovery. In the group, she lists a bunch of stuff that's good stuff to eat after the procedure, and kind of a diet plan. I'm sure you could Google search a lot of stuff, and you could come up with a good idea. I don't know what was right for you. I don't know what was right for me. I don't know. I just committed to eating healthy and getting what I thought I needed in. Okay.
Ketogenic. I don't know. I'm not. I never got hooked on that one. Some of these things are just fads. Ultimately, you need to eat. You just need to eat healthy foods. So, buy organic foods, stuff that is good for you. Another good rule of thumb is if you're counting calories, that means that you're buying something with a label, and the stuff that has labels usually has a bunch of other crap in it.
Sure.
So if you just buy whole foods that don't have labels, like bananas don't have labels on them, oranges don't have labels on them, just try and buy healthy organic foods, whole foods, and eat that. That's a good way to start.
So Michelle says, after getting hips and knees done, my foot pain is gone.
Oh, that's awesome.
Atta girl. And that's what it's about, right? So we decrease the amount of volume and weight that you have on your frame. Okay, so oftentimes you're going to have, your back issues are going to improve. Your, diabetes is probably going to improve to a certain level. The cholesterol, your cardiovascular system is not going to be as stressed. Your neurologic function is probably going to improve. Nobody's ever done studies on this stuff, but you could assume you have a healthier body, you're probably going to improve all of those other body systems.
So Chaco says, hey, remember when it was just Trevor? I bet you're happy, sir, to have another person doing it with you. You ask if we can choose who you want to do the procedure. So currently at this point, we work as a team because there's multiple parts of this procedure that are done. So we work together to take advantage of both of our strengths to get the best possible results. So it's not necessarily one or the other. We work as a team to make sure everything gets done the best way.
Oh, Lizzie says, you guys do tummy tucks too? No, we do not. We do not cut at all. We just do liposuction, and we have had great results just doing a liposuction.
And none of these pictures you see behind us have a tummy tuck, and you'll see there's no big scar or anything like that. So these are just liposuction, and I know it looks amazing in that it's unbelievable, really. You look at some of these pictures and it's like that must be photoshopped, but I just want to tell you that none of the pictures we don't even take the pictures. These pictures are pictures that she posted it. It's not our pictures.
In the group.
Right.
Yeah, in the group. So if you want access to these pictures, jump on and you can see those photos, and then you could probably direct message them and they probably send you more. So
yeah, these are all public.
Yeah. So, Lizzie says, where are we located? We're located in Henderson, Nevada, which is a suburb of Las Vegas. Easy to fly into. What I've liked about living here in Las Vegas is just the convenience. Flights coming in is super cheap. They're super cheap, and they do that because they want you to come in and lose money at the casinos.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very convenient. There's a lot of hotels, a lot of accommodations here. Come in, have your procedure, and then you can fly back out, in and out. It's super easy.
So Rebecca, she just posted here the link for the group on Facebook.
Sweet.
And just reminded everybody that all these pictures that we're showing here are also in the group. And again, these are real people, so you can actually connect with these individuals. You know, get question. You know, you may identify with some of these people and say, hey, I have a body just like yours, and you know, you want to connect with them, message them, and say, hey, I have specific questions, and they can give you answers. So it's really it's amazing that you're able to connect with people like this, because in the past, unless you had friends or family that have had these procedures, you didn't get to talk to anybody.
Sure. Michelle says, I'm disappointed that I didn't add in my pubic area. Okay, so I want to kind of address this, because this, as we evolve as clinicians throughout our career, right? You noticed that there was that fullness over the pubic area that we typically were kind of like leaving alone because it's uncomfortable. But then once we started doing it and we saw how the results were, you know, looking and what type of benefit it adds to the overall appearance, you know, we started kind of like pushing it and saying, hey, listen, you've got a full fat pad over your pubic region. Would you like us to do that? This is what it's going to look like. You know, and it's going to be improved. And so, Michelle, I'm glad that you commented on that. Come back and we'll do it. But for these other girls that are coming in, yeah, so know that when we look at your body and we see areas that might look improved, it's not because we're trying to upsell you. It's not. It's because we're trying to, we're in this together. We want you to look good so that you can be our advertisement somewhere else, okay? So our motivation is to give you the best overall look that we can.
Yeah. The pubic is commonly overlooked, and a lot of times, like, imagine this young lady up here. She's got her big belly, and that's her concern. That's all she can see, actually. Like, physically, that's all she can see, line of sight, because she can't see her pubic area because it's covered up with the belly. In many cases, that's what's happening. So it's overlooked because they're so focused on getting rid of the belly, and they don't realize that once we get rid of that belly, you got a big fullness underneath there. And so it's always something that I ask the patient, if it bothers them, if it's something that should be done at the time of the procedure. We give you the opportunity to do it then. But if you choose not to, it is something that can be done afterwards. It just, you know, especially if you're coming from out of state, it's way easier just to get it done at the right time during the procedure.
So Brenda Liz says, will my insurance cover lipo? No. I wish that we could work out some sort of deal and we could push, you know, convince the insurance companies how beneficial this is going to be on your overall health, and how over long term it's going to decrease their costs as far as insuring you. But it'll probably never happen. I mean, I've talked to a couple of people that had, you know, insurance that covered cosmetics and aesthetic stuff, but you know, I think that's gone away completely.
Yeah. You know, the truth is the insurance company, and nobody's really doing any studies on this because they don't want to know. I don't think that they want to cover this stuff, because I think that if we did studies that showed all the health benefits that liposuction has, that they would be forced to cover it. But I think that they just don't want to at this point. However, I've had a patient who really pushed for it, and it took her about a year. And you have to document through the insurance that the weight is what's causing the problem. And she was working with her orthopedic surgeon and claiming that the weight was causing the hip pain and the knee pain. And in order to avoid hip replacement and knee replacement, she needed to get liposuction. So they were able to document it, and they had multiple things in her chart saying that it would be beneficial for her, and she was able to get it reimbursed.
Nice.
So we don't actually take the insurance, but you can perhaps, if you want to work it out, and you can figure out however you can get them to reimburse you for it. It is possible, but I'd say it's probably easier to win the lottery. And I would try doing that first.
True. So Glamour Goddess says, I like that you don't operate as a mill practice like in Miami. Listen, we try not to, okay? And please, if anybody ever gets the inference that we're just all about just, you know, taking people's money, that is so far from the case, okay? We want you to have an experience here, okay? We want everything to be seamless. And so we have a big team, and there's a lot of moving parts. And so when we ask, hey, go get your labs, drawn so that we can have those results, so that we can ascertain your medical information, how your body system's doing, and we can just make sure that this is seamless, okay? So go get it done whenever we ask. There's not gonna be a surgical coordinator that's gonna say, oh yeah, they can do that. And then your labs come back and your glucose is like a 120, which is normal. And they say, oh, well, you're disqualified from the procedure and we're gonna keep your deposit. So we don't do that type of stuff. And that's happened to quite a few of our patients. So we try and make sure that you are included in every decision, and at every step we make it really easy for you, okay?
Michelle's on Facebook now. What's up, Michelle? Michelle, I want to see pictures of those legs that you keep saying you love. Make sure you put some stuff up on the group. Has she done that yet? Maybe she has.
Go check right now. Yeah.
So pretty girl, XRI. Is there any pain during the procedure? Yes.
Is there a time in your life when you're sitting there and there's absolutely no pain, you don't feel anything?
Not when there's,
If you're awake and you're alive, you're
Right.
feeling something.
Well, I mean, you are feeling something, but if there's something that you're going to gain or achieve or change in your life, it's all going to be painful. And, what your level of pain is, I don't know. Like, most people do really well with the procedure. We've had a couple of patients that haven't even broke a frown or said ow the entire time. Okay? And, it just depends on you. Most of it is all controlling your mindset. Listen, we get super aggressive, and we're very into a big dramatic change on whatever canvas we're working with, okay? And so if you can get your mind focused and you can get your mind right, and let us go to work, then we're gonna have amazing results. And I don't know, can you think of any patients that did poorly that you had to stop? I mean, we got I don't think we've had a patient where we've not been able to get out a significant amount of fat. We've worked them through every time, right?
Yeah.
And those are kind of in the rarity, but most people do really, really well.
Yeah, I think there's always the question in my mind that if somebody struggles, even though we push through to get, to finish the procedure and try, I always work to get the best results, but I always question if they're complaining affected me, and if it affected me and stopped me short of doing what I was supposed to do, then could it affect the results? And absolutely, I think it's possible. And a lot of this, I don't understand how we could do exactly the same thing and how people experience it is completely different. Some people don't tolerate things at all, and other people it's like a walk in the park, and yet we're doing exactly the same thing. So I don't have the answer for that, but the only thing that I can think of is a lot of it is psychological, and a lot of it is how you perceive what you're feeling, and people just, that's Michelle, huh?
Yeah. So Anna says, quiero una cita para una evaluación. Okay. Si quieres hacerlo en persona, tiene que hablar a la oficina. A lo mejor, súbete con nuestra página de web para enviarnos sus fotos y hablar responder a las preguntas de lo que quieres hacer y cuáles son las metas que tienes, y podemos analizar su cuerpo por las fotos y hablar contigo y podemos charlar y hablar de lo que quieres, okay? So she says, I want an appointment for an evaluation, and I just told her to send it into the webpage.
All right, one more question here. I'm diabetic. May I have an abdominoplasty? So abdominoplasty, that's the term for tummy tuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we do liposuction, and so as long as your diabetes is controlled, and we test this by getting a hemoglobin A1C, and so as long as it's controlled and you're healthy enough for this procedure, then we can go ahead and move forward. And we do many patients that are diabetic, particularly these larger patients. You're either pre-diabetic or diabetic, and the liposuction is going to make a huge dramatic change in improving that situation for you and making you healthier.
So Ms. Jones, call the office and talk to Corinne and Brandy and Kat. They have all the financial answers that you might come up with. When will we be doing live procedures?
Maybe tomorrow.
It was interesting to watch in the past. Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's such a an effort to get everything ready for one of those. And like when we show up, we like to go to work and we don't like to worry about the details. We like to make sure that we're sculpting and doing the best that we can and staying focused. So, okay. Ana, no tienes que pagar por una evaluación, solo tienes que enviarnos sus fotos por esa página de web y podemos hablar por teléfono. Si quieres venir a la oficina, tienes que fijar una cita con los chicos de la oficina. Si quieres, bueno, estamos muy ocupados en cuanto a las consultas. Si quieres, bueno, hacer su consulta más rápida, se puede pagar $100. Si pagas esos $100, bueno, hablaremos en algunos días, ¿ok? Y podemos charlar en lo que quieres hacer. Y estos $100 está incluido, bueno, usamos estos $100 para incluir en el total de lo que se hace en cuanto a una cirugía. Ojalá todos puedan entender eso. Yo soy 100% gringo, entonces lo siento. But she's asking, do we have to pay for an evaluation?
And Red, you asked about when you're ready, so we can post the office number. So in order to get a consultation, up in the post here, there's 2 links. There's a link for the free consultation. There's also a link for the expedited paid consultation. So for $100, you can expedite your consultation and get it done within the next few days. Otherwise, our free consultations are booked out till about January. So if you're in a rush, you want to get this done as quick as possible, you're able to actually schedule the procedures before you can schedule the consultation for the free consultation. So if you want to expedite it, just pay the $100.
So the question is, what kind of anesthesia do we use? So we use Dr. Klein's method, the one that he invented. We take normal saline, lidocaine, and epinephrine, okay? And it's a concoction, and we use it, and we inject it into the fat layer, and that's how we're able to take out the fat cells while you're awake.
And all that's done under local anesthetic, so we only numb the area that we're treating, which means that you don't get systemic effects of the medication, which makes you feel a lot better after the procedure.
Holly, no se burle de mí, okay? Yo sé que yo soy 100% gringo, okay? She's giving me a hard time.
About Spanish?
I don't know, maybe my accent. Listen, I've been cold. I've been sick, and so
Yeah.
I sound a little nasally. Plus, I have a little fog from being sick. My brain's not working very
All
well.
right, guys, you got any more questions over there? One more question. Anything? No. All right, guys, so when you're ready to really change your life, and again, I'm looking for the people who are ready to transform their life completely, and this is just one step in the process, but when you're ready to transform, ready to change your life, the next step is getting your consultation. And again, up in the post on Facebook, there's 2 links. They're also on our website. I believe they're up in our profile on Instagram. When you're ready, you got to get a consultation. That's the next step. In the consultation, you're going to send pictures in and pick a date and time. We'll give you a call, and then we'll get you a quote. Once you get your number, the next step is placing your deposit. It's a 25% deposit. Once you place your deposit, you can get onto our schedule, pick a date and time, and then you can make all your travel arrangements from there. So again, next step is getting your consultation. So if you're ready to change your life, get the consultation. That's the next step. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.